Hello, my name is Ajitesh. With over 10 years of experience in data analytics, I'm here to bring you the latest insight and innovation in data science and AI. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about loss function in machine learning. So before we dive in, would request you to subscribe to my channel for more such informative videos in future. Let's dive in. Why do we need loss function? We will look into this concept starting with understanding what machine learning model does. Basically, machine learning models makes prediction for the given input data set. And the need is to have this prediction match the actual outcome as close as possible. Lesser is the difference between the predicted and the actual values. More high performing is the model. So when we are training a model, the ask is that the model has the smallest possible difference between the actual value and the predicted value. And how do we achieve that? This is where the loss function comes into picture. So let's understand what are loss functions in machine learning. The loss function, or it is called error function, basically can be understood as a mathematical function which represents the difference between the actual value and the predicted value from the machine learning model. From the mathematics perspective, this function would be a combination of input data set and the parameters. Now, higher is the output of this mathematical function, which is loss function. Higher is the loss. Lesser is the output for a given input data. Lesser is the loss. In the ideal scenario, what we are looking at is to have as less loss as possible for every input data set, which essentially means that the difference between the actual value and the predicted value for the given data set is as less as possible. And how do we achieve that? This is where the concept of minimizing the loss function comes into picture. So what is minimizing the loss function? What is the meaning of that? Minimizing the loss function is essentially identifying a function by adjusting the parameters for each input data set such that the difference between the predicted value and the actual value is as less as possible. And this happens, the act of minimizing the loss function happens during the training of machine learning model. When we are trying to minimize the loss function, what we're essentially doing is adjusting the parameters for each input data set such that the difference between the predicted value and the actual value is as less as possible. The algorithm that is used to adjust the model parameters is called gradient descent, and we'll go and discuss about this in future videos. Basically, when we are trying to minimize the loss function, the idea is that if a model performs well on the training data set with the given minimized loss function, it will also perform well on the unseen data set. The process of minimizing the loss is not just about achieving the lowest error on the training data, but also about finding a balance where the model is sufficiently general to perform well on new unseen data set. This helps prevent issues like overfitting, where a model might perform exceptionally well on training data but poorly on the new data set due to excessive complexity tailored to the training data specifics. Let's take a look at an example of a loss function. As we know, in the regression task, a common loss function is mean squared error, which is nothing but the average of squares of difference between the predicted and actual values. Now, when we talk about minimizing this loss function, it is about going and finding an optimal set of parameters for this function which results in least possible difference between the actual and the predicted outcome. Alright, so this is what I had to discuss in this video. Thank you very much for watching this video. Have a nice day.